If you want to get in contact with me, the best way to do it is on Instagram. If you just want to say what up, if you want to tell me you love my videos, tell me that you hate my videos, but the best way to do that is on Instagram. Peace, y'all. Jonny Fastlane here. So, 6ix9ine donates $250,000 to No Kids Hungry Foundation, and Swizz Beatz says that younger rappers should pay taxes to older rappers. Plus, Young Buck files for bankruptcy. Basically, this whole video is about money. Let's talk hip-hop. Alright, so 6ix9ine goes on Instagram in a post that's now deleted, right? I mean, he puts up this picture right here, right? 6ix9ine donates $200,000 to No Kids Hungry Foundation, right? And then in the caption, 6ix9ine writes, during this pandemic, I understand that we have nurses and frontline heroes who risk their life daily to save others, but let's never forget the children and the families who depend on our public schools for daily meals and nutrition to keep our future leaders growing to their best potential. So to every influencer, just remember, if you're blessed by what God gave you, then you need to basically help others, right? God first. And this is, cool, I guess. I'm like, all right, 6ix9ine is donating that money. He also used this to troll people a little bit, because then, of course, DJ Academics reposted it, and he says, okay, 6ix9ine donates $200,000 to No Kids Hungry Foundation. Then 6ix9ine goes, now let's donate to Rich the Kids Jewelry Foundation, because clearly he needs the help, right? And then he also said something like, yo, it's crazy how I just got out of jail and I'm using the proceeds from Gooba to help out people when y'all niggas been here for the last 2 years and you not donating money like this, right? So even though he's trying to do something good, he is actually using this good deed to troll at the same time, right? So then about maybe 2 or 3 hours later, No Kid Hungry Foundation released a statement, right? And they said, we have declined the donation, right? As a child-focused campaign, it is our policy to decline funding from donors whose activities do not align with our mission or values, right? So they're like, that's cool and everything. I'm glad that you wanted to give us $200,000, but not from you, right? And this is honorable, right? So a lot of people are saying like, oh, No Kids Hungry Foundation took a L, they wildin', money is money, now these kids are gonna starve just because you don't want to take money from 6ix9ine. But I mean, let's think about it. They don't want to wrap themselves up in some bullshit, right? They don't want to be used as a tool. They don't want to be in 6ix9ine's game, whatever that game is, because as soon as he, sent the donation to them, he started trolling about it, right? To other rappers and to, Rich the Kid, and he was all on Academics' page, leaving comments and stuff like that. So I think that the No Kids Hungry Foundation did something that makes sense. Like, we're not trying to be in your game. We're not trying to be your pawn. You know what I'm saying? We're focused on helping kids out. We don't want to get into this hip-hop bullshit and this trolling shit and all this other stuff, right? So it makes sense, right? But anyway, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
And I want to raise $1 million for each icon that started hip-hop. Kool Herc, on down. Yeah. The fact that we're not paying taxes on who started hip-hop shows that we don't fucking really love hip-hop. The fact that we don't pay taxes as artists to those icons that paved the way, took the lower cut for the music that allow us to feed our family and live in a razor house and live in the house where you can see New York City. We need to be paying, fuck the government, we need to be paying taxes to the creatives of hip-hop that gave us our freedom of speech to move forward. I'm going to go so hard with that, I might be king.
No, you should.
Alright, so that was a clip of Swizz Beatz talking to Joe Budden, right? And that's for like Swizz Beatz Zone Radio podcast, but they're doing it on Instagram, right? And so the whole situation is that, of course, they were talking about the versus battle that Swizz Beatz and Timbaland have a lot of people doing, right? And so, of course, he was talking about Nelly and Ludacris, who were going to battle next. And they were kind of talking about maybe getting a battle between like a Rakim and a Big Daddy Kane, which would be fire, right? But then Swizz Beatz started talking about money, right? And how, different rappers, especially old school rappers, don't have as much money as the new school rappers, right? So then he says, you know, y'all know DJ Kool Herc is the one who basically started hip hop. You know, I know it's a whole debate, but you know, whatever, right? So the whole situation is, he's saying from Kool Herc all the way down, he wants to raise $1 million for each of the architects of hip hop, right? Because he's saying for us not to even pay taxes to them or to give them some of our money means that we don't care about hip hop, that we don't appreciate it, and we don't, you know, appreciate them for being the first ones to come out the gate instead of, you know, us or whatever like that, right? So of course, you know, back in the day, hip hop wasn't the biggest genre in music. So of course, those rappers, they weren't making that much money, right? Maybe $100,000 a year, which is roughly about the same as like having a pretty decent job, right? But you know, there are rappers today who make a whole lot more money. For example, you know, before I did this video, of course, I did some research. I went on Google, I looked up Big Daddy Kane's net worth, and it's like 400,000, right? I looked up Rakim's net worth and it's like 2 million, right? I looked up Lil Uzi Vert's net worth and it's like 15 million. I looked up Lil Yachty's net worth and it's like 18 million. So I understand what Swizz Beatz is saying when he's like, yo, these younger rappers should pay taxes to the older rappers, because without these older rappers, these younger rappers wouldn't even be here. I get that point, but who is giving up free money just because you used to do what I'm doing now 20 or 30 years ago, right? Like that doesn't automatically give you, you know, give you entitlement to my money that I worked hard for, right? And let's think about Kool Herc, because Kool Herc, even though he's like one of the architects of hip hop and he's from the old school, Kool Herc ain't hurting for money. Kool Herc's net worth is $3 million. He's doing just fine. Why would Swizz Beatz want to raise $1 million to give to Kool Herc so that he can have $4 million, right? I mean, if you are a rapper or a celebrity or whatever like that, you should be able to, even now, even if you're Big Daddy Kane, if you only have $400,000 net worth, only $400,000 net worth, because that's more than what I got, right? If you only have that, I'm sure you could still use that money to invest or use your celebrity, your likeness to get more money, right? This nigga Lil Yachty is out here working his ass off. I don't see why he should give Big Daddy Kane some money just because he rapped in the 80s and Yachty's rapping now. You know what I'm saying? And I know, I get it, right? So of course, you know, yes, these old school rappers, they did stick their neck out, right? Of course, they are the architects of it. Of course, they're the ones that, you know, created hip hop, and Yachty wouldn't even be around. And I get all of that, and I understand what Swizz Beatz is saying, and I kind of do support it, right? But at the same time, I'm like, I don't see any young rappers giving away free money at all. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, whatever, right? Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Alright, yo, so this is definitely what happens when your boss hates you, right? And I don't know what's up with Young Buck. I mean, he's still stuck in his contract. So he just filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy, right? And basically he's saying that he doesn't have enough money to fulfill any contracts that he has with 50 Cent or G Unit. And as a matter of fact, he's saying that they're even stopping him or blocking him from making any money, right? The whole situation is that he's really trying to get out of his contracts, right? It's not like he's trying to, you know, get out from, you know, tax debt or, you know, any other kind of debt that he might be in, right? And also, you know, his net worth is like $200,000. Like, he's doing real bad right now, quote unquote, right? The whole situation is that, I don't know if y'all remember, but like maybe about a year or two ago, Young Buck did try to put out some new music on YouTube, and 50 Cent and G Unit Records actually had it taken down and blocked for copyright infringement, basically saying that Young Buck didn't own the rights to that music, that music belonged to G Unit and 50 Cent, so he didn't have any permission to put it out. So this is crazy because Young Buck can only drop when 50 Cent gives him permission to, and it seems like 50 Cent is just trying to keep him tied up in his contract, and so that he can't move forward or move back, and he's just kind of stuck right there in limbo. And yeah, he's not making any damn money at all, right? So at least if Young Buck can finally get out of his contract with, you know, 50 Cent or with G Unit, maybe he can, I don't know, go back to Birdman or something like that, and at least try to come out with some kind of music, right? Because right now, Young Buck is really hurting. You can't do any shows because we're all, you know, stuck in the house and, you know, coronavirus, right? You can't drop any music on streaming streaming platforms because 50 Cent and G-Unit Records are gonna block that shit. What are you gonna do? Put out free music on SoundCloud, but then you don't get paid for that, right? So Young Buck is like in a real bad and tough situation right now. And I guess we're just gonna have to see what happens, man. But let me know what y'all think about this and everything else in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me at Jonny Fastlane on Instagram, and y'all already know what to do. Peace.